ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. I, of course, am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific commoner himself, Zilius.
Sup?
And, not much. And, of course, our special guest, Craig Campbell.
That is what it's up.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hey, Craig, what you doing over there?
Trying to remind myself to look into the camera.
Yes, the camera.
Yes, because doing our podcast, we just look at each other and try to engage each other.
I can look at you the whole time like this if it would help.
That's great.
And
That's
slightly
awesome.
creepy.
Yeah, stare at me just like that. And I'll just slowly.
Yeah.
I enjoy staring.
Good. Don't hang around any playgrounds.
Yeah. And he works at a school.
Oh, look, you really do that.
Not
I
before
do.
7 p.m.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and here we are off to the start. Mountain Dew, if you're watching, or Pepsi. I am drinking Mountain Dew yet again.
Well, surprise, surprise.
Mm-hmm.
You're a creature of a unfathomable habit.
That's some heavy-duty condensation.
Yes.
Lots of ice cubes.
Well, you make sure you
I'm
always
actually
take
not
one.
a huge fan of ice cubes. I kind of just put enough to
Not-
cool the drink.
You're not a huge fan of Ice Cube?
Ice cubes.
Not a rap guy?
Not the rap guy.
I prefer Jay-Z personally.
No, my wife is like, give me 5-6 ice cubes and then a little water. I'm like, the point? What's the hell is the point? You're gonna take one sip, it's done.
See, you fill the cup with ice and you fill the whole cup up with water. You have a lot of water and a lot of ice, and the ice melts as you drink it, so you're good.
But you have to be drinking it slow as shit.
Yeah, you put too much ice in there. It's just bad idea.
It's fine.
Yeah, you can't get through anything. It's like I just barely quenched my thirst, and now I would like to just kind of sip and wet my palate occasionally, but
That's
I don't
when
have
you
any
start
water
drinking
left.
ice.
Oh,
That's bad for your teeth, man. Bad for your teeth.
But it's good for the garbage disposal.
that's also a sign of something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Chewing ice, like
And then
a
like
need to chew ice, a compulsion.
What?
Yeah, and
What are you
that,
talking about?
Yeah.
and then like
Crunch, 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 crunch.
sociopaths do it or something.
Sociopaths. Yeah, they don't smile fully. They don't feel
chew
empathy.
ice.
And
They
they
chew
chew ice.
That's three signs you're working with a sociopath.
Hey, that's what you get for reading stories on Facebook. That shit's crazy.
You mean the shit we just talked crap about, or how terrible it is?
Yeah.
Crack.com's new top 5 of why the person you're working next to is crazy.
I hate fucking lists. I swear to God, it's like the top 20 reasons why this person's psychopathic.
The worst one are like those, like,
You saw this somewhere?
Yeah. Like,
Jeez.
great, awesome.
the worst of those TV lists, like the 15 worst characters of all time.
15 characters that you could care less got killed
But
off.
what happens, though, is it ends up being like 45 slides, and every slide is like 8 words. It's like, this character was hated. Next slide. Because they talked. Next slide.
The version that I dislike the most of the top number lists, is when they try to force the number to a certain number for a reason.
Yeah.
Like the top 21 blackjack tips. Well, they have to do 21 because it's blackjack, and that's the number you're going for. But there's really only 17 good tips. The other 4 are just to get you. The other 4 are just to get you to that number,
One of them is bet enough money so that you can win.
or anything in one. 21, 31, 41, 101, 1001. No, just say a bunch. Let us discover as we go through how many tips there are. The slideshow will tell you, number 1 of 16.
You know, the slideshow is always freaking misleading on all those sites because the last slide is actually either the next story.
Yes.
It's a promo for the next thing.
That is
Fucking
annoying.
asshole.
You get to the second to the last and you think, wow, this is really interesting.
I know, I'm going,
What are they saving for the end?
The next story!
The next stinking slideshow.
The next
That
story,
is
the
it.
top 10 lasty episodes of all time.
No. The funny thing is, no matter what, for me at least, when I fall for the stupid clickbait on answer.com, the last slide is always, it always ends up being like famous animals. And it's always a picture of Lassie. And I'm like, what the hell?
It's answer and ask.com.
I have
Those are
news for you, Charlie.
Yeah.
Answer.com sucks ass. It is terrible. It is
Oh, I know.
always terrible.
Oh, I know.
If you go to anything on Answer.com, it is horrible.
That's why it's clickbait and we still fall for it.
Well, it's just like BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed steals all of their content from other sites. And they've gotten in trouble so many times for stealing art and content from other people.
Just don't give a shit.
Like, yeah. They're like, oh, okay. Then we'll just.
It's not
remove your-
stealing, man. The information wants to be free.
It's on the internet, therefore it's free, man.
It wants to be free. It's all just information.
So, okay, so.
Free the bits.
Okay, speaking of free versus not free, I'm sure that y'all have heard that Will Wheaton came out and just said, for those people who like artists and anyone who's giving time to a project, never do stuff for free. You should always be paid or compensated in some fashion, which I'm totally okay with. But at the same time, I think that Also Confusion can't personally pay, a bunch of people to help us out. But I mean, we can, do some kind of compensation.
But at the same time, I don't know, especially for, say, the starving artist, if that's a reasonable expectation as a starving artist. Sometimes you have to do those free projects in order to build that portfolio.
Yes.
I mean, I know it's maybe a little bit different when it's talking
I have very strong feelings
but look
about
at
this.
open source
Being a
software.
freelancer.
Look at open source software. It's written mostly by people for free, but it also gives great resume builders when you actually have to go find a job. Like, hey, look, I wrote all of this for Firefox as an open source software. I can actually do stuff. So that's the argument of, you're not being paid by Mozilla to actually do it, but at the same time you're doing something potentially productive and you're building a portfolio.
Yes, and there is quite frankly something to be said for the satisfaction of producing the thing yourself.
Right.
Just accomplishing that. And then if it, I think the biggest issue that Will Wheaton had and that some people that chimed in on it, because I saw a lot of talk back on that from the RPG community. And there were differing opinions, and I have opinions on that as well. And what it comes down to is the big issue is, I think what they're most worried about is don't do it for exposure.
Right.
Because exposure is a cheap word that companies will try to use to get you to do something for free. Well, we'll put it out here and everybody will see it. Yeah, well, it'll go up on their website or it'll end up in a book or a magazine or something like that. It'll go into an email and it'll be seen briefly.
Right.
And then it's kind of gone.
Right.
And so exposure really doesn't mean much of anything. Now, if you want to do it for free and do it, and if you're happy that, it'll go on somebody's website for a day, then you're happy. Then you've accepted that. I'm at the point where when it comes to RPG design stuff, other than when I'm doing my own stinking game and have no idea whether I'm going to make any money off of it or not, I don't do anything for free anymore. Because I've built a skill set to the point that I don't have to. I would rather spend the time that I would be doing something free pursuing paying gigs.
Right.
It kind of reminds me of, and Charlie might remember the details better than me, but one of our Facebook friends, Jackie Lewis, posted probably about 2 months ago, basically an article that was about the ad industry, where basically they're the only industry where you basically get their work for free to see who they're going to hire. So if you want to get an advertisement, you reach out to advertisement agencies, and they basically actually send you what the advertisement would be. And basically it's an article basically lambasting that idea because why are we doing all the work for free when we don't actually know if we get work?
Technically, I'm just making sure I'm actually reading that right, because last time I had someone very angry at me for mispronouncing their name.
War Thunder?
It's
World. It's a little far away.
Hunter.
I can't read it.
World Hunter.
I did better.
I'm just going to go with that. Yes, of course, doing stuff for free would give you more exposure, but the thing is, and you have to, I think you need to understand.
It's a personal choice.
Right, it's a personal choice, and you also have to understand that when you do something, it really depends on where your art's going to be seen. If it's just a graphic that's going to be seen for one day, chances are someone's going to be like, oh, that's a nice picture, and not think anything else of it. Unless, of course, you build it into your portfolio. But if it's like something...
The best chance you have is somebody who might actually be interested in hiring somebody that does work like you do,
right.
looks at it and is actually thinking, oh, well, who's this person? And then
right.
they seek you out.
Right.
The exposure is mostly going to be people that have absolutely no interest or involvement in hiring somebody to do the thing that you do. They're just fans of that thing. So, there you go.
No, I've had I've had quite a few people approach me and ask if I wanted to write reviews for their website for extra exposure. And I'm just like, no, no, because they want unique articles that are not found on my website. I'm like, I've got enough just doing my website. I'm not interested in.
So basically, you're doing work for them so that they can make money off of your labor.
Yes.
They
want more. They want more content so they can get more exposure to pull in more ad revenues. And of course, I wouldn't see any of that money. It would go straight to them. I'm just like, no.
No.
So.
The next worst situation is royalties. Because you have no idea necessarily how well something will sell a lot of the time. If it's something that you know is very popular and you know will get sold, purchased, bought by people, it's going to make some money, you'll get some amount of royalty. But, on really small scale stuff, if you're just like producing RPG PDFs for somebody's online distribution, they're doing something through Drive-Thru RPG. Royalties probably amount to very little.
It's like
always better to just get a fee.
Yeah.
Know what your work is worth and get a flat fee.
So are you if you choose the royalty route, because that's kind of almost like a gamble.
It is.
You're like, okay, I'm banking. It's like playing playing the stock market. I hope this does well, and it makes lots of money.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the things that I see a lot of just like royalty based system is the oh my gosh, the Audible. There's a thing called ACX. It's basically the chance for individuals to try out for audiobook readings. And then if you get selected, a lot of the up and coming authors or the little known authors are like, yeah, we'll give you a very small fee, and then there'll be royalties built into it.
Okay.
And you're thinking, but I've never heard. Like I'll do like 30, 40 hours of reading, and I get, I don't know, like $5.50, and then the rest is royalties. It sells like three.
You hope it ends up being like the next Harry Potter, right? Like,
well, it becomes it's your personal. Everybody makes their decision. There's a certain point if you are freelancing in anything where you're getting paid, a fee or royalties or however everything is arranged. There comes a point once you've got enough finished credits of whatever the thing is that you start making a decision actively, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to accept this rate. For a smaller company that maybe can't pay as much, I'll take this rate. But otherwise, for the bigger companies, I expect this. I'm not going to do royalties unless it's at least this percentage. Whatever it might be.
I think it also
just go with that.
Kind of comes down to, is that your profession or not? Like look back at programming. A lot of people do, for instance, modding. That's something you can consider something people do for exposure or for fun as you do modding, but very few modders actually get paid. But that's also not their profession, is modding typically.
But if you do modding well enough, you can you can create a business. Tripwire Interactive in Atlanta did
Typically.
That. And then there was a main modder for what was the name
Civ
of it?
5.
Civ
Civ 4.
Civ
It's
4.
Fall of Angel, or Fallen Angel. And they basically rewrote the entire game of Elemental War of Magic.
Which was so bad. Oh my god, it was so bad.
Yes.
But yeah,
But I think it depends also what you're, say, freelancing for, on whether or not there's that expectation of payment.
So speaking of mods, there's a game, ironically by Tripwire Interactive, called Killing Floor 2. And they're
because you survived the first killing floor.
Yes.
Go get killed.
Not a very good killing floor.
They will actually, you can put your mods up for free, or you can put it through I think there's some kind of like approval system, and they will put a price on it, and you will get some of the money for the paid mod.
Didn't they try already doing that with Bethesda?
So yes, they tried for
Skyrim? Yeah.
But I don't think they did it right.
Nobody liked the way that they were going to do it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not paying $15 for the My Little Pony. Everything is a My Little Pony.
Because the mod creator got to choose what the price was.
Right, exactly.
Case. Whereas in the Killing Floor situation, the actual Tripwire chooses it. But as a content producer, say in this case producing the mod, don't you think that you have the right to decide what the price is, not the publisher? Why should it be the publisher who chooses and not myself? I'm going to create the mod.
How do you have a whooping 0 people ask for your opinions?
Is that like a whooping cough?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, get ready, everybody who's chatting here. You're dealing with a writer today. So. Oh, and I take offense, Charlie. You are not using the Oxford comma in Zelius, Charlie, and Craig. Very disappointed.
Look, okay.
Well, technically, it's grammatically correct.
It is grammatically correct to Oxford comma or not. Either one's fine. Oxford comma solves problems.
I agree with you.
You do not. You do not want to see my writings because I'm like, oh, comma here. Yeah, it sounds like a comma here. Run on. Fuck it. Comma.
Semicolon, semicolon, semicolon.
I don't know.
That was
how to
the high
write a
school.
Do
semicolon.
you know what a semicolon is for?
Nope.
No.
I do not.
Most people don't.
It's for.
Do you know what ellipses are for?
Isn't it for ending a line of code in Java?
That might be. I'm going to take
That's a
your word for
semicolon.
it.
Yeah.
That's about all I know it's useful for.
It's also for separating two separate thoughts in the same sentence without using an and, but, or.
So you're saying is you do comma and then semicolon and.
Oh my god.
It would be Charlie is cool, semicolon. Zelius not so much.
Yeah, exactly.
So what you're saying is a semicolon negates
Oh my
the
god.
second phrase and does the reverse of what you say.
That's
doesn't have
not
to be the
opposite
reverse.
land, okay?
You're going a little too far. It doesn't have to be the reverse. I just wanted to make fun of you.
Yeah.
That's what's for the reverse. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Successful. Shit. Now I got completely.
Think of
derailed.
semicolon, semicolon,
No,
semicolon,
shut up!
semicolon.
Shut up!
What the ellipsis is.
Sounds like you're playing like Street Fighter or something. You're trying to
Fun match.
semicolon, semicolon, semicolon.
Actually,
Finish him.
I'll be completely honest with you. One of the things I hate about because we're saying
Semicolons?
semicolon, is when you have a game that has
Semicolons?
set. No, shut up.
If you
Has
say
set
semicolon
controls.
3 times, semicolon shows up. Oh wait, that's Beetlejuice.
And
While
Bloody Mary,
spinning
right?
and facing the mirror.
Um,
Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary,
there's
Bloody
so many games out there that have like they've got like the keyboard controls, but they allow you to use the
The
gamepad,
yeah.
but they don't switch over. So you're playing the gamepad. It's like use A and D to move left and right. You're just like, but I'm on
no!
a gamepad.
I don't have an A&D.
I don't know what that means. Push this button to jump. I'm like, what does that equate to? Let me.
Only
What?
test.
That's a pretty big glitch.
Actually, it's
Oh, short's coming. Oversight.
well. I've always got serious issues when it comes to controls because that was what I programmed for my final project. It's not that fucking hard.
So you do it the Charlie
It's
way?
not
or
that
the-
hard. Yes, basically yes. All right, let's get into what we're really here about, ladies and gentlemen.
Video
This
games!
is Murders and acquisitions.
Wait, is Murders and Acquisitions a video game?
No,
Not yet.
not yet.
Not yet! Alright.
Who would like to code it up for me? I don't know how to make a video game.
I can make a robot move with programming. Does that count?
No.
I can do a tic-tac-toe game in Pascal.
Wow,
that
now we're
makes cool.
dating you.
Yeah.
I can do Hello World in Pascal, Fortran, Visual Basic, COBOL.
What about assembly?
Depends on the chipset. you give me a
Can you do that in Greek? Because that's where this is going for me.
no.
Oh, we can keep going.
No.
Down the rabbit holes.
No.
Morse code.
It's not a programming
What?
language. Even I know that.
No.
All right, what's up?
Okay, mergers and acquisitions. So, give us a little bit of background on mergers and acquisitions. Go!
Murders and Acquisitions is a sort of a narrative-focused, rules-light game, tabletop role-playing game of, let's see if I can do this, espionage, subterfuge, theft, and murder.
Murder?
Occasionally, set in sort of an absurd corporate world where everything's over the top. People literally backstab their way to the corner office. It's in essence, it's almost kind of fantasy fulfillment for anybody who works in an office and who wishes they could just beat the crap out of their boss once in a while, or maybe who had a boss at some other place that they wanted to.
We've
smack
all
around.
had that boss.
And in this game, you can go ahead and do that in your imagination, rather than actually poking your boss in the heart with a knife.
Unless my boss plays with me in this game, and then I can actually stop.
That sounds dangerous. I would never recommend that.
It's a terrible idea.
Whoa. So this fictional boss, you're going to stab him in the eye with a pencil sharpener? How does that even work?
With the pencil sharpener or with the pencil?
No, the pencil sharpener.
Stab you in the eye with a brick.
Yeah.
I thought your game was Molotov cocktail to stab personally.
No, I'm just going to use my...
Well, that's what Charlie does when he plays Murders and
Yeah.
Acquisitions.
No. I just basically disassemble a computer tower and make an electro super electronic thing that's going to overload the circuit, and then fry the shit out of myself
with a botch.
with the botch.
Yeah, well, I started the game. It's like a little over 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago, July, where I started laying. I guess July or August, I started laying it out. I was playtesting by that fall.
Mm.
I playtested now. I've got like well over 100 people who have demoed or playtested the game. I'm hoping to push that to 200 with conventions and game days between now and May or so of next year when the Kickstarter goes.
Woo,
Looking
Kickstarter.
like it's going to be early May. It'll go run early May to early June, which will put MomoCon 2016 right at the end of the actual Kickstarter period. So I'll be pitching it as I'm
Does
demoing it.
MomoCon, I don't remember, does it have like video board game?
No, they
It has a gaming area. It's kind of out of the way, but the gaming, the RPG and board, well, it's really the RPG staff. The RPG staff was really good last year. I was surprised given how out of the way the gaming area is. They were great about going out there. They went out and found people. I never had to leave the table. They went out into the floor of all the other game stuff that's right outside there as people are just wandering by. Said, hey, you want to come in and play this game for an hour?
Cool.
Hey, come on in, come on in, come on in. I never waited more, the entire time I was there, I never waited more than 20 minutes for a full table.
Wow, that's awesome.
I would finish a table, and within 20, they would have found 3 to 5 more people.
That's awesome.
You have probably walked by your table like 3 or 4
Probably.
bajillion times.
And I was right in the front. Like, if you walk by, I was the first table.
Yeah, I definitely walked by here because I kept looking at what was it? There was like a laser tag thing or something like over in the corner. I was like,
there's a bunch of stand-up console games in that whole.
There's a game from there I still need to play. It was Pinball RPG.
Yeah. No, that's where I first met the guy behind SnarfQuest Tales, James Simpson.
Yep.
Who wants to come on the show and talk about SnarfQuest?
Ooh.
More stuff.
Yes, but damn, we could have played Mergers and Acquisitions earlier then.
We could have been.
I could have gotten over here earlier, and we could play the demo before the game.
No!
We could have played for an hour. I've got pre-prepped stuff ready to go because I'm going to KingCon next weekend.
Which is in Warner Robins.
9 days in Warner Robins. I'll be there all day Saturday running demos.
Now, is there an optimal
If
number?
it's really busy, if there are more people that want to play, I'll go back on Sunday too.
Are there like an optimal number of players that you're looking to play with in a play run?
In a demo, I can run it with 2.
Mm-hmm.
The game runs best with like 3 to 4 players.
Okay.
5's doable. I've had tables of 6.
We had 6.
And
I think,
your table is 5.
5, yeah, 5.
But I have run 6, and since I'm not beholding for these demos. I'm not beholding to specific 1 hour slots. It's basically I get everybody together and we play for about an hour.
Right.
So if it's 6 players, maybe it runs an hour and 10, hour and 15.
Mm-hmm.
And if everybody's cool with that, we might, as we get close to the hour point, I say we got a little bit further to go. You guys cool with hanging around another 20 minutes?
Yeah. Which would happen, but we decided to just.
Well, you guys
do an entire
played.
new.
You played 2 sessions. You
Yeah.
played 2 parts of the adventure.
And I fucked up twice.
Botch an hour. It's a good. It's a good rate.
You were very good at that.
I know.
It requires a special amount of creativity to botch.
Well, it
as hard as
means-
you did.
I'll say this. It means that the game system does what I want it to do, which is to say it puts you in the position of a botched roll enough to make things interesting. Because constant success, while successful and getting to the end of the story is great, botches are much more entertaining.
But so it's been how long since MemoCon?
That was in May.
You mean Endocon?
And Indicon, yeah, sorry.
That was in August.
August.
Yeah.
I
August.
mean, just say, okay, so it's a couple months later, and the thing that Charlie and I still remember and talk most about Murders and
botches.
Acquisition, it's the botch. Like, that's what stands out.
Oh, yeah, when
is
you
the
screw up.
entertainment behind them. That's what was fun, and being pulled into a mimic because it's on fire. Like, you don't get that in other games. Like, you remember those crazy things happening.
And, I tried to build enough of that into the game that there's, just the monster itself is ridiculous. The thing we're talking about was a giant living dumpster that would chomp you up.
It's a mimic.
A dumpster mimic. And, there's enough monsters in the game that are like that in the Magic and Monsters version of the game, because you can play the game straight without any fantastical elements. You can just be, running your way up the corporate ladder. I've run many playtests of that.
Okay.
And then there's all these modular add-ons where you can add magic, you can add monsters. Right now I am playtesting cyber tech.
Huh.
So you got like near future kind of tech.
So it comes up DLC off the bat. Day 1 DLC?
And then there's other rules for cosmic horror. like Cthulhu style.
Let's say it sounds like something out of Lovecraft.
Monstrous things from beyond the edge of our perception that want to drive us insane and destroy our world. And the corporate
Wow, that's
and the corporate bigwigs who have made pacts with them and sacrificed things to them.
So you're saying is it's Angel.
All for power. Yeah, a little bit. Well, I mean, and I've said that. You can take a little bit of the magic rules, a few of the monsters, throw in the cosmic horrors as kind of the senior partners, and you've got Angel.
Nice. Okay, so I have a question for you.
You've got Wolfram and Hart.
Yeah, it's a fun show, especially season 5. So, obviously you've been doing Merge accents for a while. I'm just kind of curious, what are some things that you think work well with this game? What are things that maybe still you're trying to improve on for future gameplay?
I think the system in general works well. It's fairly straightforward. You have 12 skills that cover everything you can do, and each of those is ranked with a die, D4 to D12. And then so when you roll a skill, you take the skill die, whatever that die is, and you roll a D6 with it, and you add them together. And it's simple, quick math. Everything's addition. There's 0 subtraction in the game.
So I'm not calculating THACO.
You're not calculating THACO.
Oh.
You're not adding a ton of little +1 and +2s and -3s and all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
Everything is built. If you've got it. And if you've got advantage in something that you're doing, you just bump your die type up. If you're in a bad position, you bump your die type down.
Right
on. The one thing that I do know that I'm trying to get into more, and I've got playtest groups looking at it right now, is that the spending synergy points, which is a limited resource that you have in the game that kind of fluctuates. You gain some, you spend them. You gain them as you spend them.
What is synergy points?
The big 2 ways that people are using synergy points is it gives you an additional synergy die when you make your skill roll, and you take the better of those 2 dice and add it to your skill die, so you got a better chance of rolling. Or you spend it to negate a wound that you've just taken to keep yourself alive. There are other uses for it. You can modify the narrative. You can actually kind of take a hold of a little bit of the narrative and decide, okay, no, there's actually a trapdoor over here that my character found, and the GM says, okay, and on you go. And then you could also use it to take an additional action on your turn. Instead of having just 1 action on your turn, you could have 2. Well, I originally had the rule was you could only do that once per encounter, and that's limiting. So this time around, spend your synergy points on extra actions all you want, if that's what you want to do. You can do that as often as you want. I've also added a rule for synergy point spending that you can after you've made your check, if you succeeded, you can spend a synergy point after the fact to add a complication to what you've just done. So if I've made a melee attack on you, just sticking with the attack thing, just because it's simple. If I attack something and I hit it, I deal it a point of damage, I can spend a synergy point and knock it to the ground.
Okay.
Or push 10 feet back and maybe there's a cliff.
So incentivize the players more to basically use their synergy points.
To use their synergy points for other things.
Okay.
Because people would sit on them and just wait till the big bad came along, and then they would blow them all into their same attacks, and then keep a couple in order to negate some wounds.
Yeah.
And the narrative thing only occasionally comes up. It depends on the players. Like there's certain players that really get into manipulating the narrative and are open to the supervisor, in this case the GM, saying, you can actually shape a little bit of this too. You just have to spend points to do it. But a lot of players don't really know RPGs that way. It's the GM does their thing and the players do their thing, and never the two shall meet.
Right.
So a lot of players just don't latch on to that. So I tried to add some other things there to see what happens.
But does that also mean that you need, because like you're kind of talking, you have standard modules, so the GM kind of knows exactly what they need to do. But in your case, if you have players spontaneously changing the narrative, you also have to have a GM who can also go with the flow of changing what they were expecting. They're expecting to go down this path. They're also like, oh crap, I have to go down this path.
Well, it is defined in the rules that the narrative change by spending a synergy point are minor things.
Okay.
They're meant to be things that kind of just help you nudge along. They're not going to be something you're not going to spend a synergy point and say, and I stabbed the bad guy in the face, and he dies, and we win. No, you still have to earn that.
Okay.
So it's minor stuff.
Okay, cool.
But it's flavor. It's stuff. I mean, you could say, hey, we really need to know what the boss has been saying about us behind our back. Well, guess what? My cousin was just hired in the mailroom, and he's overhearing the boss doing stuff all the time. So I spent a synergy point, and I've now established that I have a contact in the mailroom until I piss him off or throw him under the bus, which happens in the game.
Because you backstab.
They're called minions.
Yes.
When an NPC falls kind of under your sway, they take on the term minion, and their whole point is to do things for you until you either scare them away, force them to betray you, or throw them under the bus. And sacrifice them for your own purposes.
Can you throw another player character into the bus?
Absolutely. PvP is, while not strictly encouraged, it is certainly a part of the game. For groups that want to do it, they can do it.
Well, we had accidental PvP.
Yeah.
Where people got possessed by a phone.
Do we want to look at some stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can keep talking about, all this stuff too as we go, but we've got lots of pictures.
I want to see. Let's see a picture.
Okay.
Yes, let me get to
Where's the picture?
her, man.
Come on, man. I'm waiting. I don't believe you.
We'll just start
First one right there. Yep.
start
one.
this one.
Just hit that one, and then you can just arrow key through them.
Let's move this over,
Purdy.
and then I am going to grab the screen. Oh my
Oh,
god! Come on.
there
Here we go. He's gonna try. Let's
Here we
go.
You can do it.
He's gonna do it.
Look at the red box.
Red box, and we're just going to.
Oh, you have to do it like that. Okay.
Gloop.
All right. Well, those are the title designs that were put together
Sweet.
by Jen, my graphic designer, a few weeks back. The one in the lower left is what we ended up going with.
Sweet.
This one right here.
Nice.
Yep. And we've added color to it and
Yes.
added a little extra blood
So a little red on the
the
side
blood.
there.
to it. Yeah.
Cool.
I really like my original mock-up was the one in the upper right.
That's, I think, my favorite, honestly.
But I came to
Acquisitions
discover
is
that
too
the
long, though.
keys get the
Yeah.
keyboard keys you'd have to make the letters bigger.
I
Yeah.
can see that.
Otherwise, the keys start to make it hard to read.
Yeah.
I really liked the two in the lower right
Mhm.
because the acquisitions is in the money. That's our money.
Mhm.
That's the font that's on our money.
Mhm.
Ah.
The
Yeah.
only thing is that I felt it was a little disingenuous because in the game is not about actually strictly accruing money, although your characters are seeking wealth.
Right.
But you're not tracking like dollars. Money is handled in a very abstract manner. So it seemed a little wrong to
Oh,
make a big thing out of the money
I can see
font.
that.
We went with the one that we went with because it does the job the simplest way and it incorporates the keyboard key,
The
but in a simple way.
ampersand.
What'd you say?
The ampersand.
In the ampersand. Yeah.
I always have to check sometimes.
So it's murders and acquisition. That's just like Dungeons and Dragons with an ampersand. It's a special weird ampersand, which is in D&D. It's always a dragon
Yeah.
Yep.
kind of form. And
Oh,
with me,
no.
it's the key. It's the keyboard key.
That
I've
works.
got him over there.
We can look at some more.
Let's see what. Oh, that's.
Whoa,
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 hello.
whoa,
Oh, my God.
whoa, whoa,
Hold on.
whoa, whoa.
Whoa,
It's so much bigger.
What happened? Oh, okay. Oh, my gosh.
Skip to the next one. There we go. Just stick with that one. We already looked at that. Was just the title design. We'll see that again on the front cover.
Let's see.
That's a form-fillable PDF character sheet. Woohoo! That my friend Andy has put together.
Nice.
I've got a lot of friends, also suckers, who are willing to do things for this game
So you have
for
employment,
basically no money.
summary skills. You got some areas of expertise.
All of your skills.
So is this based on other like templates that kind of helps out to define your character, or is this freeform basically?
It's freeform. If you get, you've got the 12 skills. They range from D4 to D12.
So do you just roll dice before the game starts to see what you get?
You start with character points that you spend.
Okay.
Everything starts at a baseline, and then you just build up from there. Everything starts at a D4.
And then you choose where to put your points
Yep.
based on your pool.
And all of your wellness and your wits, which are your physical and mental health, start at 3, and you can build them up.
Sweet.
In areas of expertise, you start with 2, and you can purchase more as the game progresses. Education, work experience, references, that is actually kind of in flux. I think part of that's going to end up changing.
References.
But as a form-fillable
Satan.
PDF, it actually works fairly well. It's gone out with the playtest groups this time around. People that want to use it on a tablet or whatever can use it.
So like they'll play so you're all still playing live and in person, but they have like a
Mhm.
tablet that they're just keeping track
We
of.
just you have everything on a tablet,
Oh, that's cool.
or you can just you can keep track of it on there and then print it out.
Yep.
Or you can I've got another character sheet that's just a regular character sheet that you can print out and write out, just write on it in pencil.
Yep.
Old school.
Mhm.
What's up next? I think we get into illustration.
Ooh.
Yeah, these are illustrations from these are illustrations that have been flowing into the Nerdburger Games website for a couple of months now. But I thought we'd just kind of flip through them a little bit.
Is that
is that one.
Looks like a.
Did she stab herself in the shoulder?
No, it's a little. I mean, you have to. No, it's not.
It looks like she stabbed herself in the shoulder.
Don't
It's curving
say
into
that.
her shoulder.
The hard work is done. Don't say that. No, it's a one of those giant paper cutter arm blades that's been snapped off,
Oh, okay, got it.
Oh, at the office. That makes sense.
like from an office. Yeah, you snapped it off.
Oh, I got it.
Oh. I'll remember that when I get attacked by zombies at work.
Yeah, that was done by Beth Farney. I've got 7 artists on board. List of infractions. Can you read those?
Suspension, theft of office supplies, wasting company time, beating, assault of a supervisor,
Superior.
The superior.
oh yeah, theft of personal property and violation of HR directives, termination, assault of a board member, embezzlement, and theft of proprietary info.
And termination means termination in this game.
Nice.
Means actual termination.
Ooh.
You did.
Yeah, you're not fired. You're
dead.
done.
I think I tried to do
That's
that.
awesome. Yep, you threw it at a person at a zombie thing.
I don't know if it was
A
a stapler.
the
but
staplers have been a core weapon in the game from the get-go. I decided, they're just going to use stuff around the office. That one's done by Quinn
Because
McSherry.
I think I tried to use. I think I tried to use the company binder, like
The big employee binder.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big heavy monster.
Yeah, I think I was swinging for that. Hello. Is
It's
this
the janitor.
Yes, the janitor we were waiting on. That was taking a smoke break on the loading dock.
Yeah.
Bastard.
Well, here he's cleaning up a conference room where things have gone poorly and there's a knife on the wall.
He's not impressed.
No, he doesn't look very happy at all, really.
He looks really pissed.
Also, he's mopping in what is probably a carpeted room. Which I have no problem with. After I saw it, I was like, wait a second. The conference room probably has carpet in it. Why is this guy mopping? Well, I wrote in the art order that has cleaning supplies, and the artist chose to have him mopping. I said, you know what? That's fine. I don't care.
It works.
That means there's just a really significant pool of blood down there somewhere.
Must be really bad.
Yeah, bad meeting.
Oh, there we go.
There's our
That's
weapons
what
table.
Now you
That's-
see that. Now you see that.
Yeah, that's my
Okay.
that's my spoof on the the typical RPG weapons table. They'll have the illustration showing all the different weapons scaled against one another.
I love the Zach Morris cell phone.
The big brick phone,
Yeah.
You stab somebody in the eye.
gun, knife. Yeah, you can go with the gun or knife, but scissors are more interesting. Brass knuckles, staplers, of course. Pretty much anything is usable as a weapon. The combat rules are fairly simple, and pretty much everything works the same as everything else. Other than you can sometimes, with exceptional weapons, you can gain advantage when you're using the weapon. You use a higher die type.
Which I think is why I got a shard of glass out of the alley and tried to stab. Was it a boss or something? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Hello.
Oh.
What is this? Oh wait! I think we actually faced one of these.
Did you guys fight the tech? Yeah, you did. You fought the tech. Did you fight the tech dragon?
I don't think we did.
No,
actually.
we fought.
No, you did the cell phone zombies, and then you did the alley fight, the ambush.
Yeah, with that guy who.
The next one was the tech dragon fight. If you guys.
Oh,
have
That was
played
yeah.
one.
werewolf, and I had the guy tackled for 18 rounds.
Yeah, the tech dragon is dragon, basically a dragon robot. It's one of the most powerful creatures in the game, in the monsters supplement to the game. This is the only one of the illustration so far that has magic and has any of these supplemental rule stuff in it. Is magic and monsters. This was done by Becca Gowdy.
The chick in the foreground looks badass.
I was, I described, the art order described all of this, and then she said it at night, which makes that lightning pop,
Yep.
which I thought was spectacular. I was
Yeah.
really happy.
That's
The
very cool.
first version of it, she tweaked a few things as we went along. I also dig the fact that she actually incorporated an airplane's wings and tail
Yes, I was.
into the dragon. That's not an airplane going by in the background. That's the dragon's tail.
And I like that he has a yield time. That's his weapon choice.
Yeah.
Like he said, it could be anything in the game as a weapon.
Or using magic in this case by the girl.
Okay, this is.
That's just a shot of kind of basically what the interior.
So you got mini bosses.
That's mini
I'm not
booms.
gonna or
Mini
mini
boons.
boons. I'm not gonna read it.
Yeah.
Advantages, advantages, and disadvantages, botches. This is my favorite section because
Yeah, Charlie does.
I will admit I tailored some of these some of the screenshots for you, Charlie.
Yay!
For that game. So I included the botches section. That's basically what an interior page will look like. That if it doesn't have if it has illustration on it, it'll have that as well. There'll be other illustrations. There'll be different other types of graphics that make their way into the game or into the book as well. But you've got like the gray box sidebar, and there's the chapter title is up there in the folder tab. That's a mock-up right now. Actually, Jen is working on the final version of that.
Some spells,
and that's
magic bolt.
That's some example of stuff from the.
I think someone in
from
our
the
group had a magic.
From the magic section.
Yeah.
Magical
Living
traps.
tattoo. A tattoo of a snake or a devil dog glows slightly on your skin.
You can peel it off and it turns into the actual monster and fights for you.
I want one of those.
All right, I'm game.
And you can do that once per day.
That's cool.
Mega flash drive.
Stick the flash drive into the computer. It downloads absolutely everything in there.
Damn.
Encrypted or unencrypted?
Everything. Well,
No,
you guys it can be encrypted, but
you can encrypt it after the fact, I suppose. But it downloads it. But it's a one-shot thing. You get it. It gets everything out of that computer, and then it keeps it there. But you can never erase it off the mega flash drive. It's a one-shot thing for getting that data.
I got it. It's one time.
And a quicksand rug is what it sounds like.
Nice.
It's a trap. You step on the rug and it turns into quicksand.
Yeah, sounds
That would have been nice for those cell phone zombies.
Just how them all fall at once.
Yeah.
Thumbster.
There's the thumbster. That's the giant dumpster that ate Charlie's
Bitch.
character.
That was a pain in the ass.
It was fun.
I had a lot of freaking hit points.
Yeah, it did. It did not go down easy. Even though the interior was on fire.
And then
For mini rounds.
And then for players as well, there's monster templates.
So like the werewolf right here.
Yes.
So it's got.
So these are
barrel.
templates. These are templates that you can apply to your character.
That's what I had a werewolf.
You spend a couple of character points on. You can be a werewolf.
Yeah, he was a werewolf.
Yep. And you've got the ability to transform into wolfy form.
Oh, it's a pretty useful
gain
skill
some
to have.
advantages.
Yeah. Cybertech.
This is some of the stuff that's getting playtested right now.
Ear boost.
I wrote all the cybertech stuff. A friend of mine, Tim Egan, wrote all the nanotech.
Mm.
He designed all of that. He's actually designed a fair bit of stuff for it. If everything goes well and I overfund with the Kickstarter, all these people who are doing this stuff for free will get paid according to standard rates.
Nice.
For the type of work that they're doing, whether it be, illustrations are getting paid for, but I've got fiction, I've got game design, and I've got layout work being done pro bono until I fund well enough, and then everybody will get paid. And a burner is a person who has far too much cybertech and kind of loses touch with his humanity and takes to burning himself just to feel.
Ooh, that's special.
So he's covered with scars.
The overload, when a burner dies, he explodes.
Yeah, he explodes.
Explodes in an electrical burst 10 feet in diameter, dealing 1 wellness damage to everyone in the area. Targets can make a
target number 9 bodily grace check in order to avoid the damage.
That's rough.
Yeah,
man.
he blows up because he's so charged up on electrical stuff.
Terrible.
So technically, I mean, I didn't have a lot of cybertech in me, but I almost did an overload in the first chapter as I was running around. Artifact shards of.
Ooh, cosmic hole.
Hestegoth.
So this is more like the
this is the Cthulhu-esque Lovecraftian kind of stuff. Yeah, Hestegoth is like my variation on the Nyarlathotep. It's the ever-shifting blob of craziness that's constantly changing things and driving people insane just by looking at it. Yeah, he's got 15 points of 15 wellness. Characters have 5.
F it, dude. I'm
Some of the more powerful creatures have a little bit higher in the single digits. Characters can only ever have 5. These guys have 15. Here's the killer. It's also, normally it's target number 7 to hit you guys.
Uh-huh.
Some tough creatures are target number 9. Cosmic horrors are target number 11. You can't even attempt it unless you at least have a D6 in your skill.
So this is like
you will always miss if you only have a D4.
So this is like the extra hard mode.
You're not really intended to fight these guys, but if you do, they're going to kill you. Every one of them, there's 3 of them that I've designed. I love designing these guys because there's always, first they get like multiple attacks around. Mm-hmm. They have huge wellness and wits. They're very hard to hit, every single one of them. And then every single one of them has a thing that happens every round as a free action. They make you make a check, or they make a check, and if it is successful, your character is dead. That's it. You're done.
Yay.
Hestegoth, I don't remember where where is it called? Succumb to Chaos. Once per turn as a free action, one target within 500 feet must make a target number 13, which is a very high target number, physical adaptation check, or be transformed into a scion of Hestegoth. Boom, you're done.
Yeah.
So does these guys at least give like fat loot or something?
Not necessarily.
Oh.
Congratulations, you survived.
But for the suckers who want to try to fight them, yeah, and they're nearly impossible to kill too. If you do kill them, they come back unless you do some very specific things to keep them from coming back.
Rebirth. When Hestegoth dies, its consciousness
Is split amongst all of its remaining scions.
Oh my god.
with an attempt to find each other and combine to rebirth Hestegoth. The only way to kill Hestegoth permanently is to kill every scion before they recombine. Yet, no.
You're a terrible person.
Yes, and here's the kicker to that. It's implied in there that every remaining scion has to recombine. So if two scions find each other and sit around over here, and you run around the world and kill all of the other scions, those two recombine,
Bitch.
and Hestegoth is back.
Yeah,
They're the only two remaining.
Nope.
I'm like,
Yeah, it's really hard to kill any of these guys, but that's the point.
I'd throw my entire party at Hestegoth and run the other way.
yeah, you would.
All right, so here we go. Here's some NPCs that you're going to run into that are going to help you out, I'm hoping.
Or you end up fighting, beating up. You know, you might get into a scrap with the bar bouncer. You might get in trouble with the detective. Management bully is, you know, the guy who's, get it done or you're fired. He's just running around telling you that you're going to get fired if you don't do your work. He's not much to fight. He's all D4s in his physical stats. He can beat his ass pretty quickly.
I'd steal his cell phone and beat him with it. That's all I'd do.
Yeah. This is just an example of like some more of what you'll see in there. There's like, you know, I've got like 40 plus NPC stat blocks written up.
On the high-end tablet.
So you've got plenty of stuff to work with. And then the section after that is actually a whole rundown of just ideas for stories.
Okay, that was actually going to be my question.
So you could generate the skeleton of a story just by rolling on these tables. They're all D12 or D6 tables.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your main foe, roll a D12. That's your main foe. Number one hench person. There's a bunch of different types of adventures. One of the types is a theft adventure, where it involves you stealing something.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a whole series of complications that you can add into.
Someone mistakes one of the PCs for someone else. Dun, dun, dun.
Yep. And you can go nuts with that.
Nice.
And I would go nuts with that.
This is the back cover of the book.
I like it.
There's a lot of placeholder stuff in there right now.
Yep.
All that text is Latin. That's that Latin stuff that they stick into just as an example for graphic designers. The illustrations aren't necessarily the illustrations that will be on the back book, and they will ultimately be in color, whichever ones are back there. And then the post-it note's going to have something written on it.
Some sort of message goes here.
There's
I'm
something
not sure
right
what yet it's going to have. And there's the front cover,
Nice.
which is much more
Employee
colorful than the
manual.
back cover.
Love it.
The graphic design, as I said, was done by Jen Sorrell, a friend of mine. She also did the weapon table, the array of weapons. Back up, man, back up. Whoop. The cover illustration itself, right there in the middle half of the page, was done by Ben Herrera, who's done other artwork as well that I just don't have in this packet, and will be doing more. He lives out in California and is like a not a big name necessarily, but he's done some big name kind of stuff. He's done Marvel covers.
Nice.
He's done some really nice Marvel covers, and he was able to swing something a little comic booky and lighthearted for a reasonable price, as opposed to what I'm sure he gets paid for. You know, his comic book covers. I don't even want to guess. I mean, I'm sure many hundreds, if not over $1,000.
Makes me wonder, if I may ask, how? So you have a lot of various artists who have been doing work. How do you find these talents to like? I want this artwork. How does someone go about actually finding these talents to help them in a project like this?
I went to, there's a number of websites. There's freelancer.com, Elance, which I think has changed. It's become part of another website or something. You just look for freelance resources online.
Okay.
You can find people to do all sorts of stuff.
So you can
find
find people
artists,
online
you
to
can
do
find
work for you.
videographers, you can find people that do audio recording work. They'll, just about
And they're
anything.
kind of like websites that kind of like
I went on there. It cost me nothing.
combine people. Like it's a place for like if I'm an artist, I go into this website and register, and then potentially hook me up. It's like a dating website, is what it sounds like.
Thank you, Whacked Kid. I love the manual too.
We all do.
Look,
He's got a copy in there.
120 pages of actual content.
Oh my gosh.
So we just need to.
Yeah,
We'll just borrow
that's what I'm
it.
using to play test. And that's what I'm showing off at at conventions and game days.
Nice.
Where was I?
Where
Where we find these guys?
Yep.
Yeah, basically, I went to these websites. They didn't cost anything. You go up, you set up a basic account, you announce what your project is, and you let them find you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could go looking for them, and I did a little bit of that. But it occurred to me at one point that, you know what, if I put this out there, the people who are really looking for work and who are anxious and who are really trying and who are taking an initiative will find me.
Right.
And I, over the course of a month, weeded through about 50 people.
And you usually have like some kind of sample.
To find 7.
Some kind of like sample of the work ahead of time to judge what they're.
Oh, everybody has a portfolio.
Okay.
I didn't get a query from a single person who doesn't have an online portfolio.
Now, is there some kind of trust factor involved with this? Because you have to trust that that portfolio is really their own. They're not going to, give you buckets basically and scam you.
That's very true. Then, of course, what happens is once you get into one-on-one with the artist, I send them a contract. They get paid a fee. It's a black and white illustration on a quarter page. It's not a huge fee.
Okay.
I give them an art order
Yep.
that describes exactly what the illustration looks like, and then they produce that. And if they don't produce that, then they're faking it.
Gotcha. And then if they do well in that, then
I
you
didn't
have
come.
them on.
That never actually really occurred to me because I assume that these people are on the up and up if they want to,
I'm cynical.
because you're not going to get a
nature.
big score off of something like this. If somebody's going to hire you, they're probably going to start with something small.
You're not talking like $1,000 off of that.
No, this was less. Everything that I've had done, other than the front cover, is less than $100.
Okay.
Black and white illustrations, quarter page, small stuff.
Okay.
Um,
So probably not. If you're scamming somebody, you're probably not doing quarter page illustrations.
no, if you're scamming something, you want the big score, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But you can't really scam with art stuff. Not very well, I would imagine. If the art order is fairly specific, okay, good luck. Now you're going to go search Google to find that exact thing, and maybe Photoshop a couple of things in. And, they're in different styles. They look ridiculous now.
Use a little photo. I can Photoshop. I can create 2 layers.
Why
2 layers. One's in front, one's in back.
White Kid 47 is actually one of the Ultra Confusion contest winners that we were running for convention passes. He's going to be at MomoCon. He actually, like we were saying before the broadcast, he actually interviewed us at MonsterCon, which is now gone the way of the dodo bird, and it looks like he's going to find you at MomoCon.
Okay, bring it on.
So
you can play the game.
Yes,
and feel free to interview. Yeah,
he charges you about $20 an hour to play test person. No big deal.
Yeah, that's a great way to get my Kickstarter to not happen. Charging people $20 to
play for the privilege of playing with Craig Campbell.
To play one demo, 1 hour demo, when the PDF is probably going to cost $15 of the whole game. All the content will cost $15.
So is everything that's going to be needed to play the game going to be found in the manual, or are you going to need additional manuals? Well, of course, dice. But I'm just saying, as
far as the rules go.
As far as the rules, for the player, the GM, the whole the campaign ideas, it's all going to be in just that manual.
Yes. The intent was to keep this as simple as possible because, quite frankly, this is a side project for me. I'm an architect in my real life. And I'm very, I'm good at it. I enjoy doing it. I will frankly make more money doing that than I will doing game stuff, unless I become an incredibly big name and work 70 hours a week, which I don't want to do, not as a requirement anyway. And so the intention is, I'm keeping everything as simple as I possibly can. The game book's got a color cover. Everything in the interior is black and white. I'm not going nuts with color on the interior. That would raise the cost of doing everything in the book. It would make funding the thing more difficult because the funding goal would have to be higher just to pay for all the color artwork.
Right.
And your ultimate product, if you were going to get like a premium color book of like color on premium stock, that's going to cost you more too. So that's going to be a deterrent to people wanting to buy the book.
Here's a question. I don't know if you can answer this question or not, but a lot of times you see like in Kickstarters, they have like the $5,000 backer who gets like the super premium edition. Like you were saying, it is more expensive, but it's the crazy edition.
Yeah.
If you give like a crazy amount of money.
No.
Okay.
Okay. The book itself, everything's going to be in the book. The book will be, if we barely fund, the book will be about that thick.
Okay.
That's the core rules.
Okay.
Plus illustrations and the handful of pages that are missing. Like there's no credits page and there's no index and all that kind of junk. This is 120 pages. Add another 30 pages to it. If we hit all the stretch goals to add all of the additional content and therefore need to buy more artwork and get more editing and everything else too, then this book goes up from 120 to 150-ish, and that'll be the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
I plan also to take every playtest adventure that I've written from the beginning of the game through the end of the game, clean them up, tidy them up, make sure they jive with this, and publish those as part of the package.
Oh, cool.
Those will be separate PDFs. They will likely not have illustrations. They might just have like a nice cover, and I might like reuse an illustration from the book on the cover.
Looks like some of your play testers are saying if you were to have been charging $20 a play test, they'd be owing you a lot of money.
There's your Kickstarter fund right there,
Exactly.
man.
Well,
You got a plan.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that charging up front, like this is also in part. I mean, it's not what Kickstarter is really intended for, but it does serve the purpose of marketing the game.
Right.
And so it's people are learning about it and they're putting their money back in backing toward it there early on, and then they're going to get their product. The intention is to have a funding goal of somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000 for the base funding goal for the base game. It'll probably be close to $1,500. I won't know that for sure until I know exactly what my page count is, and therefore what my art requirements will be to hit an appropriate, worthwhile amount of artwork and graphics, and then everything that we overfund beyond that, we'll just add more content to the book. So it'll go from 100 up to 150 or so pages. No matter what, the PDF of the game will be, I'm thinking, $15.
Okay.
We'll get you the PDF of the game book. It will get you the form-fillable PDF character sheet, a regular fill-out with a pencil character sheet, and then all these adventures, or at least whichever ones I get together. I might end up posting some of them later on the website. Depends how fast I get through them. So you'll have that $15 backer level, probably $15. There'll be that $1 thank you for your support, which people use really just to get updates, to see where the thing's going. Yep. And then once they know, oh hey, this thing's funding, okay, now I'll switch from the $1 to get the actual product. Yep. So there'll be that kind of a thing in there for people to use that way. I'm thinking probably there will be a $20 level, which will get you everything in the PDF, all the the whole deal again. Plus, you'll get a code to use at drivethrurpg.com to purchase for yourself a softcover or hardcover book at cost and ship it. You will pay for the at cost printing of the book and the shipping separately through DriveThruRPG, but you would be surprised how little that costs. You can get a softcover book at 150 pages for $5. Ship it for $5. So you've paid $20 to me, $10 to DriveThruRPG, softcover 150-page book for $30.
Not too shabby.
Hardcover, $35. Those two pieces of cardboard cost $5.
Barnes & Noble charges me more than that.
I know.
Well,
God, I hate those.
So long term, if you look at buy something like this on on drivethrurpg.com now, a lot of that money is going. There's a profit margin,
right.
And drive-thru is taking a certain percentage based on whatever agreement you have with them. There's different types of agreements you can have,
right?
And then you get your whatever your markup is above and beyond the cost of the printing itself. So, and ultimately it will be available. That's going to be my agreement. That's where you'll be able to find it after the fact. But to start with, again, keeping it as simple as possible. I don't want to have to sit down and when I get everything done and I think, oh, good. Let me survey my landscape of the wonderful game I've created. Oh, there's a pallet full of books that I now have to stick in boxes and ship off to a bunch of people when you can do exactly that through a fulfillment printing service like DriveThruRPG and in the process build a relationship with them to then offer the game book in their normal store.
Makes sense to me.
So that's the plan there. Did I hit all my talking points?
Oh no.
Yeah, I think so. Probably.
So you were saying that that you're looking at Mayish. That's me. My sister would call it.
She
So
knows this is the brightest time.
I'm looking at what?
The sacred time.
Oh God! See, when Zelius opens up his mouth, sometimes you just got to take a second to be like, "Whoa!"
Hold your mouth.
$5,000 equals a weekend at Craig's.
Weekend
Yeah, it does.
at Bernie's Revisited.
No.
Oh, Dale says they're good adventures. Hey, Dale. Dale Lore. That's Dale. That's one of my playtest GMs.
Nice.
He's my most prolific playtest GM. He has run
Nice.
many playtests, and is running more soon. Yes.
So you're aiming the Kickstarter for May.
Early May, starting in early May.
Okay.
Don't know exactly when. I'll let you know.
Awesome. Just for those who tune in late, it's going to be early May. You can find out more information about merge and acquisition. This is sacred time.
A moment of silence. Quiet contemplation.
You can
pimp the game.
You can find out more information on this game at nerdburgergames.com.
I occasionally talk about it on my podcast as well, nerdburgershow.com.
Just
That's
occasionally?
weekly. Well, I don't bring it up constantly because it's not the Nerdburger Games podcast. It's another thing. You know,
Fair
it's its own beast. And, quite frankly, my podcast partner, Mike, and the other regular guests would get kind of tired of it pretty
Talk
quickly
about
if
it
all we
every
did was
single-
talk about, well, what did Craig write this week?
This is going to be now the Merge and Acquisitions podcast.
No. Every couple months when there's like a big announcement, I'll talk about it for a little bit.
Yeah. So check it out. I will once again give you a picture of the front cover. Ta-da!
Yeah.
The employee manual.
Yeah, look at that. Pretty cool.
Fancy.
Fancy.
What is this guy doing in the back? Oh, it's glasses.
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, the first time I saw it, it looked like he was eating Chinese food. I don't know why.
Throw
But
noodles in
it
his
looked
face.
like he had like the Chinese food takeout box, and he had like chopsticks in his hands. But no, it's glasses.
That's Ricardo. He's getting beaten up by Bob. Those are archetype characters that you can play. They'll be pre-generated character sheets
Which I think was useful to
of
have.
all those characters
Absolutely.
ready to roll.
Definitely
for a play test, it's quintessential that you have.
Ooh, I want to do this one. Let's flip forward in the images again. Flip forward one.
Go.
There's the Nerdburger Games logo. Flip forward one more. That is a tease. Craig is designing a second game.
Uh-oh.
It's in its most rudimentary form right now.
So is this interesting?
But that is a little tease of what that game may turn into. If it works out, I'm not sure yet. We'll see what happens. If all goes well at AndoCon in 2016, I will have enough of this formulated to run a couple of demo tables.
Nice.
At the end of the convention.
Now,
After I've run a crap load of mergers
Now,
and acquisitions tables.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard. I think it was in the chat room during one of our actual shows. Was that one of the requirements to potentially play this new game was that you'd have to do a play test of merged acquisitions.
That's what I'm thinking. In order to play test the new thing, you got to play the current thing. I don't want to say the old thing because it's not even going to have been made at that point.
The
But
next gen pen and pencil.
Yeah, you will have to play a session of mergers and acquisitions in order to get in on that. And I will not be announcing what that is until I am sure that I'm doing it. So it probably won't see the light of day until maybe a month before AndoCon.
Okay.
At that point, I should know whether I'm going to actually have it ready or not. But there's a clue right there. I can't say any more. But in that image that we just showed you,
He said,
there is a clue.
it just dawned on me that drag erroneous. I didn't even CAPERS capers.
Oh, somebody figured it out.
Aha!
Capers.
Okay, now I'm thinking superheroes immediately.
I was reading it as Strap Pack, but whatever.
As what?
Strap
Oh,
Pack.
because you're reading it backwards. Oh, you're funny.
Oh.
I was reading it as Appersk because I'm dyslexic or dyslexic.
I'm selected dyslexic. Don't ask me for my phone number.
Dyslexics on tie.
I believe in dog. No. God, that's exciting. Okay, cool. All right, we got a little bit of time to just, I guess, throw it out to the audience. So if anyone has any questions for Craig, or if they want any other topics to be talked about, talk to us.
I'm done.
Otherwise,
I'm out.
Otherwise, I am going to ramble. Dude, I really want to say something, but I can't because you don't watch Doctor Who as it comes on.
This is correct.
Brain freeze.
Son of a bitch.
Should I leave the room for like 4 minutes?
Oh God. Do you watch Who?
I don't watch you. I've watched episodes here and there, but
I'm a Whovian, but
Not
I
enough.
don't watch it as a
I'm
couple.
not up to speed on anything enough to be able to
There's
really. speak intelligently about it.
the second to last episode, something big happens, and I have no one to talk to about the damn thing. So
I'm sorry, man.
Damn it!
When it comes out on Netflix a year from now, I can.
Yes, Driggs or Anonymous, you are a genius who cannot use proper, proper
Grammar.
punctuation
Apostrophes.
and capitalization.
oh God. Oh yeah.
It's
I'd
kinda
be your
harsh.
worst
Sorry,
nightmare.
writer.
No, I'd be your
No.
worst nightmare.
I honestly, I don't care. I'm just making fun. I'm having a
My
good time
wife.
with it.
My wife's just like that. She'll read. I'll type
And actually, to
something up.
answer, there's a comment in here. Palindromic Bob the Bully. Palindromic, by the way, is a great word. Bob the Bully. Kind of, yeah. But the name Bob actually comes from my podcasting partner,
That guy.
alliteration. Another great word.
But it's funny, alliteration. Side note, but alliteration is you don't use vowels to do alliteration, do you?
So alliteration is just the repetition of the same first letter.
Right. I
So
thought
you
it was
can use
only for
vowels.
consonants.
My name, Craig Campbell, is alliterative.
Allow apples.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bob actually comes from my podcast partner Mike, he's a good friend of mine. He's played in a number of my home RPG games, and his characters are always named Bob or some derivation thereof.
Nice.
So the version of in the example of play at the beginning where it has like a bunch of players playing the game and they're talking about their characters doing things. Mike is playing Bob.
Nice.
All right. So just
Anyway,
I've
ramble.
got a GM question for you.
Okay.
Like, so for any of these for like Mercs and Acquisitions or any game where you're the GM, but you have a very long-winded individual who wants to describe everything in crazy ass detail. How do you maybe tone it down? I don't want to say derail, but tone it down. Like if you're like,
Are you saying they're describing what they're doing?
Yes.
They're dominating the table.
Yes.
With their own personal narrative.
yes,
That is, I hate getting questions like this or getting into discussions like these because I've been actually blessed. I've had really good gaming groups pretty much all the way throughout. I haven't had a lot of problematic players or GMs that I've played with in like regular games. I've been to cons where I've run into some people. Oh boy. But, it's assuming you are friends with the person. Outside of you're not just gaming with them, that you
Right.
actually have some level of friendship with them. I'd say the best thing to probably do is just to bring it up outside of the game
Yeah.
and say, hey, I realize that you're really digging this. You love narrating the character, but other people are missing out on the chance to do that with their character, or maybe the other players aren't as much into that,
Right.
and so they're just sitting around waiting for the action to commence while you're describing in exacting detail how you're shopping or having a love interest or whatever it is your character's
Yes.
But
doing.
I
Try
even-
to just talk to him and try to rein him in. Just,
Yeah.
But I even saw that when we were
be
playing.
fair about it.
When we were
Tell
playing
them-
a mobile
Tell all the players. This is something I do as a GM all the time. Tell all the players at some point. Make a point of it early when you're running the campaign or whatever. Say, once you've played a few sessions and you understand what everybody likes.
Mhm.
This guy likes to beat stuff up. This guy likes a little intrigue. This guy likes to do some narrative acting.
Right.
Make sure. Just say, I'm going to give every single one of you, every game session, you're going to get your moment.
Mhm.
So save that big verbose discussion of how your character is going to woo the queen
Mhm.
away from the king or do whatever, just save it for that one. I'll give you that moment every game session. Most players will be satisfied. If they get one or two big moments for the thing that they really love to do, they'll be happy.
bashing in heads.
There's actually there's a game that I kickstarted, created by a guy named Corvus Elroy. It's called Baladon, and it's actually got a very unique way of dealing with individuals who may be long-winded, and it's a storytelling game where you have certain points that you have per round, and those points basically give you a sentence. So if you're trying to get down an alley, a foggy alley, but from time to time there's a gentleman with a spotlight that will shine the light, and if you're caught in the open, you're caught.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to formulate how you're going to do it, but you can't be like, well, I go over here and then I vault over this and I do this and I do that. You have to be very precise with, okay, well, this turn I'm going to do this.
But can't you use
So it's like becomes like a verbal
compound
puzzle.
sentences?
Yes. Huh?
Can't you use multiple compound sentences?
Yeah, but at some point,
Because like you get some authors like Tolkien can write like entire pages of one sentence.
but it's a very interesting technique to where you put the emphasis on sentence puzzles, word puzzles, where
and for the right kind of players, they probably get into something like that. Yeah.
But speaking of writers, an individual who, in my opinion, I would hate to GM, Terry Brooks. Oh dear God, I can't. It's like they go off on a tangent at random intervals about like the texture of the wood on the table as they're drinking this red wine, and the sweet taste. I'm just like
George R.R. Martin describing every course of the wedding banquet.
Yeah.
In exacting detail, a page and a half of what they ate.
Yeah, but it was the wedding banquet.
Yeah, but still,
It was the wedding banquet. It set it up for the mood. I'm not gonna say.
Hey, plenty of other authors that do their own thing. Stephen King can spend 3.5 pages describing some old guy's morning routine, just to get you into the humdrum of that old guy's morning routine and understand how boring his life is.
Yeah.
And they can write books where he's basically the central character.
Well, write what you know. I wrote a game about beating people up in an office. Guess where I work?
In an office. Yes. I mean, I still work in an office, but
Do you have a game with it? Does this include cooking human flesh?
I'm sure that there's probably flayed man something, but it's not actually flayed man.
Yeah. You cut the bread into like the X, and then the meat goes on there shaped like
It's
certain
like
things.
No, it's a cookie cutter that you just slam into a piece of steak and throw it on the griddle.
Griddled flesh. Wait, no.
What?
You guys watching Walking Dead?
No, See,
next topic.
I stopped watching Walking Dead when they went to the farmhouse. I wanted to stab.
See, you hung in there.
myself in the face.
See, you hung in there for 8 episodes.
I got through the first season, and then they went to the
They
farmhouse.
were at the farmhouse by the 8th episode.
Oh God!
I watched the first season. I watched the first episode.
Okay,
I couldn't do it.
never mind. That's fine.
I know
You
there's
can do
zombies.
Yeah, they're zombies.
You make it sound like you went through such a trial. I hung in there until they got to the farmhouse.
I love to tell the time.
I'm sorry. I was like, I felt this great pace, and then they hit the farmhouse, and it's just like
The first half of that second season is
snail pace.
Ooh.
It's like I can't.
It gets
I have-
better in the second half, but that
I have
first
so
half
many
is
other
rough.
shows I'm trying to watch at the same time. I can't do this. But anyways. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, we've reached the end. It is 9:15.
The end is 9!
It's past my bedtime,
It is past my bedtime.
It is past his
and I got to drive home.
I don't have to go anywhere. Wait, I've got to bathe a baby, so.
Is that a euphemism?
No.
That's an actual baby.
Yeah.
I really hope that's not a euphemism.
No. But anyways, I want to thank Craig Campbell for coming on the show and giving us a quick peek at some of the art and some of the layout of Merge and Acquisitions. Of course, you can play Merge and Acquisitions, play test it at King
Con.
in Warner Robins. And of course,
I'll be at AndoCon. I'll be at MomoCon. I'll maybe at Atlanta Con. You can go to nerdburgergames.com to learn more about the game in general. You can email me at nerdburgergames@gmail.com if you want to playtest it at home. I will send you everything you need to run a playtest adventure with your group.
Nice.
Like Dale.
Is there? So if they go to the nerdburgergames.com website, would they be able to find out what conventions you're
Yep.
showing at?
It's all on the schedule.
Awesome. All right. So once again, thank you, Craig, for coming on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. For myself, Charlie, Zelius, and Craig, it's been a pleasure to have you on this Thursday night hangout. Tune in next week where I'm sure we'll have something to talk about.
More video games.
And I'll get on the chat and talk about Nerdburger games.
Oh, we'll pimp out Nerdburger. By the way,
it's going to get a little slow for a month or so.
By the way,
which is fine,
I
'cause it's
tried.
been hectic for the last few.
I tried to put up an ad. I like to throw from time to time. I like to do the Thursday night hangouts. I like to do the Facebook ad thing, and they rejected the mergers and acquisitions ad because they said the entire image is text. We don't support that. I'm like,
What?
it's a logo. Like, I don't understand. But anyways, check it out. NerdburgerGames.com. For myself, Charlie, Zelius, and Craig, we will see you in the very, very near future.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.
And support my game
Support his game!
in May.
In May.
But support it now too. Play test it.
Yes.
All that's done.
Or just give them money.
Yeah, that works too.
Give him money.